What up? Jared Hood. I know I'm not consistent with these, but I told you I'd be back. Jared Hood Sports, whatever you want to call it. If you catch me from Hood's Huddle or JD Sports or Hoodie and Ozpods or Hoodie and Ozpod or anything else that I did, welcome back. First time watching, or maybe you watched before in the Jared Hood Sports Show or whatever we want to call this, but welcome back. And if not, first time, thank you. Gonna go through some playoff football, right? I love college football. I didn't do anything for the college football game. Semifinals were amazing. Final, I mean, excuse me, I bet against TCU pretty big. Didn't expect that though. Count level was pretty crazy. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the NFL. Let's just open it up. I'm going to go in order. Saturday, you got two games. Seattle at San Francisco. Seattle had a lot of help to get in, but very fun way the NFL season ended. I'm a fan of more teams in because you just have more action like that at the end of the season, right? I think week 16, 17, 18 are a lot more fun, and I know it used to not have a week 18, but than ever before. So getting to this game specifically, the surface is pretty correct to me. I mean, San Francisco is really good, right? Their defense is incredible. If you go back over the last, I think, 10 years, Legion of Boom was at like 14, 15 points a game one year, and I think they were at like 16, 17 points a game another year. This team's at 16, San Francisco. So, like, that's pretty incredible. I know the Patriots did it once or twice in, a 2 or 3 year span there, 16, 17, and then 18 or 19, something like that. So, last 10, 15 years, last 10 years at least, you don't get this a whole lot, right? So really, really good defense from San Francisco. The thing with Seattle is, and you wouldn't expect this from a Pete Carroll-driven team, but they're not defense and run-driven. They throw the ball pretty well. And I know trading Russell away, it's kind of like, what? But it's a lot more... I'm a Russell fan, and I guess... I know this year's not the year to say that, but he played a lot of street ball out there with them, right? And it was a lot of let him do what he wants to do because that was kind of his like, hey, this is why I want to be here and let me kind of do what I want to do. Geno is much, and I hate the word system, but he's gonna do what the offense has dictated and what he's kind of not told to do, but just listen. He trusts his coaches and he trusts the play calling, and I'm sure he has the utmost ability and leeway to change plays at the line, and I'm sure he does a very good job of it as well. You can't be as good as they are without him doing that. But at the end of the day, I think he plays within the system a little more, if that makes sense. But so betting wise, I think they might keep it within the 9.5. I don't know. I'm an Eagles fan, right? I hate to say this. I love Shanahan and I love Debo. They're two. Shanahan's one of my favorite. He might be my favorite coach in the whole league, honestly. And Debo might be my favorite non-Eagle player. I love Debo Samuels. So I do believe like San Francisco. I mean, you go further than that. Kittle, CMC, right? Like CMC is incredible. Like if you are going to bet on this game, I'd probably bet like the over. San Francisco is not great at stopping the pass, but it's not necessarily that they're not great at stopping the pass. It's that teams can't run on them at all, one, and then so you have to pass because you're always losing to them by like usually double digits within the first half. So it's not that they're not good against stopping the pass, just teams are going to pass a lot and get a lot of yards on them. And Geno does get a lot of yards. It's just, like I said, the strength kind of Seattle if you want to give them a strength. So I'd give Geno like over on the passing yards, over on the total number, and like probably, I don't know, you could probably try for a flyer, Christian McCaffrey, over on yards rushing. Again, it's a flyer, but that's just to probably help the number. I stayed away. I mean, I'm going to probably bet the over in the Geno yards. And I might throw the CMC in thing there just because I said it out loud and it sounded pretty good. But Seattle doesn't have a good defense, honestly. And that's surprising to say with Pete Carroll. I'm not the biggest Pete Carroll fan, but that's surprising to say with him, right? So do I think they can keep it within the 9.5? I do. Can I see it not being within the 9.5? Absolutely. I'm not saying Geno is experienced or anything like that, but like you don't know also with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, his yards per attempt are through the roof. I just talked about how much I love Shanahan. I do believe Brock Purdy. And listen, I don't know if it's a benefit or a not for him or the Seahawks, but he did see them before and they saw him. It was early, right? It was only his like first, second, third start somewhere in that range. So I'm taking San Francisco. Hopefully it's a good game. The second game Saturday would be, I think this is going to be a fun game. The Chargers versus the Jaguars. I'm taking Jacksonville plus 1.5. That means the odd makers think that Chargers have a better roster, and they probably do if we're being honest. I think coaching matters in the playoffs, and I don't want to bust on Staley because I feel like he's getting really banged on lately, but he makes some weird decisions in general. I do agree. And I think this is one of those situations that, Doug Peterson in big games is Doug Peterson in big games. And I think I like Herbert a lot. I love Trevor Lawrence, if that makes sense. Like I'm not. This isn't a knock on Herbert. I think I could go all day how fun he is and how great he is, but I don't know. Just Trevor Lawrence has been like that dude, and his whole life, not just his career, his whole life. And if he's gonna be that dude, right, this would be the kind of game to be that dude in. So I do believe a home game Saturday night, whole world's gonna be watching. I think that again, their defense is a little iffy against the pass, and Chargers can pass. So I think you're betting on this, take the over, for sure. But I'm going to take Jacksonville. Like I said, I think coaching matters, and there's a lot of things to tell you outside of Chargers coming across country on a short week that the Chargers are the better team and probably should win this game. But and again, people are going to say it's the homer and me being an Eagles fan, but coaching does matter. And Doug Peterson in these situations has proved it to me. And I think last week also kind of, not saying it goes against the Chargers because I understand the injuries and all that stuff, but Jacksonville got to kind of go through it, and they were able to go through it for a couple weeks now. And so I think they're pretty prepared for this moment, and not that being prepared for this moment is going to get you over the hump, but I think that it's going to help them. I really do. High scoring is all I really got. Sunday, the first game of the weekend, or the first game of Sunday, Miami at Buffalo. Not much to say there. I mean, if you really want to, it's 13.5 is a big number. If you got in there at 9 with Buffalo earlier this week, you probably feel pretty good about it, but not saying you shouldn't bet it. I think it could be a two touchdown win, but Skylar Thompson just maybe it was by design. I do love Mike McDaniels, who is a Shanahan protege, but Skylar Thompson just hasn't shown anything at all in his limited time out there. And Buffalo is, they're a juggernaut for real. They're good, and they're playing for a little bit more, right? We all know that. Giants versus Minnesota. I think this is just as much of a toss-up as anything, right? The reason I'm going to take Minnesota is because they have a better roster, right? But I don't think either defense is that good. The numbers would say neither defense is that good. But Minnesota has, I think, if you're just barely better quarterback, but a better quarterback, I think better weapons. I don't know. Dabble's a really good coach. I think both offenses are creative and both offenses can be fun. But I am going to go with Minnesota. Minnesota's put out the close, tight games all year. That's the reason they are, 12, 13, I think 13 wins. So I think Minnesota might be better defensively than the numbers show, but numbers are what you are sometimes. So the other biggest question mark game of the weekend to me, I think these are the two biggest question mark games of the weekend to me. Baltimore, Cincinnati. And I know that's weird to say. Cincinnati's a much better team, especially if Lamar Jackson's not playing. They're not the much better team if Lamar's playing. I think it's a pretty even game, honestly. Might even give it to the Ravens if Lamar is playing. But Tyler Huntley might be good. I don't know. By design, definitely the Ravens hadn't shown anything lately to Cincinnati. Burrow's that dude, though. I'm taking Cincinnati, right? Everything says you need to take Cincinnati. I don't know if I'm taking Cincinnati with the points. I didn't bet it. I really enjoy, I said coaching matters. I really enjoy what the Ravens franchise has done over the years. You could tell me what you want, but that year that they won the Super Bowl, before that happened, you would have been like, nah, they're not that good as a coaching staff, right? And since then, I know they've been getting their respect, and their GM who retired, whatever, they got a new GM in there now, but their past GM got his respect. I'm not saying Zach Taylor's a bad coach. I think Zach Taylor is a good coach. Again, coaching matters, and that's why it's an unknown to me. I think that the Ravens might do something. I'm not saying they will. They might, but I did pick Cincinnati if I had to be, held down to something. So, and I love Joe Burrow. I love Chase. Defense too. Last but not least, Dallas, Tampa Bay. I mean, the one that everybody, I think, is probably most entertainment-wise excited for, right? Tom Brady versus the star. Dallas is the better team, but they've played down to their competition lately, right? Jacksonville, probably not as good as them. What happened there? The ghost of Washington with the third-string quarterback. I mean, that was interesting. Dak didn't play well. But then against the Eagles, I know the defense was what it was, but offense put up numbers. So, again, Tampa, I don't think they're that great of a team. I think Tom wants to go play somewhere else just to make sure that it's not him. I don't know if it is or not. He hasn't played great. I don't think he's played bad. It's hard to judge with the team around him not playing well, but maybe he's the reason the team is not playing well. I think he wants to find that out as much as I'm questioning it. McCarthy's been a pretty good coach, double-digit wins back-to-back years, but a lot of pressure, right? Where Tampa and Tom Brady don't have a lot of pressure, and if there's a guy who's going to do the one-off game that can beat you, it's usually Tom Brady. So we'll see. But basically, yeah. So pressure's not on Tom, and like I said, I don't think Tampa. I don't think they have the horses. Dallas should win the game. But I don't know. I picked Dallas if I had to bet on it. I really don't know. If it goes that way, the Eagles play Dallas next week. That would be crazy, right? I think if this Monday night matchup, it's already going to be crazy. It's going to be so watched. It's not even funny. But if it's for the winner versus the Eagles in Philly, that'd be interesting. But hey, Jared Hood Sports, thank you for watching. Share with your friends. I might be back throughout the playoffs. Might not be. Who knows with me. But thank you.